Hey, Dad. Are you a good boy? Yeah. Hey, guys. Welcome back to the Heart of Home. I'm Courtney, and I'm super glad that you found my little corner of the world. I am currently being stared at by our neighbor's dog. I don't know if you can see him. He's a young German Shepherd. He's not even one. His name's Doug. So I am really excited to share that we are officially out of the threat of frost. I say that very loosely because we still have lows of 40s. However, in the 10-day forecast, we are certainly not in the 30s anymore, but it is Iowa, and Iowa appears to be a little unpredictable. So I thought I'd just give you guys kind of an update of the yard, the garden, my landscaping project in the front, and update you on everything that's happened. It's been a couple weeks since I've posted, so I'm sorry. I'm sure the algorithm gods hate me for that here on YouTube. My seedlings are doing phenomenal. I just posted a video with a little bit of an update about how to take care of leggy legumes. My mystery tomatoes, if you missed that on my last video, all of my tags have washed off. When we left for our vacation, which was a couple weeks ago, I had another gal taking care of the plants and watering them, which she did a phenomenal job, but she probably didn't realize that the names on all of my identification markers were starting to wear off, and I should have known better. I used a Sharpie felt pen, and for some reason it didn't stick. So this will be really fun. Stay tuned for some garden tours this summer, and we can all laugh and make fun of me together. All right, so let's start in the front yard. I have been a busy bee just working on the landscaping, keeping unwanted or undesirable plants out of my yard. As you can see behind me here, I've got this bed is almost ready for mulch and for plants. I just need to do one more row of limestones because I want it to be thick enough that when we add our mulch that it's not piling over the limestones. And then when I go ahead and plant in any of the perennials I'm going to be getting here in a couple weeks, I'm just going to cut an X into the spot where I want them to go and dig right down into the fresh compost that I have underneath that soil. So the other thing that I did these last couple of weeks, I went to our local nursery, which has been one of my favorite places to go to. Not only is there a coffee shop right across the road, but it's seriously maybe 2 or 3 miles from our house, so not very far at all. I did get a couple cold hardy plants to put out here because, again, today it's only 54 degrees and it's a little windy. It actually feels probably closer to like 45. Definitely chilly and not my favorite thing. So if my phone is shaking, it's because I'm shaking. But I got some ruby ball cabbage. These are really pretty. This is a purple cabbage. It says an early red head, have sweet flavor that resists splitting and matures in 65 to 68 days. So this should be ready here actually beginning of July, which would give me enough time to put in another crop. Another plant that I got that is pretty cold hardy is kale. So kale is lovely for so many things. I really love to add it to soup. You can also make kale chips. I will be doing that as soon as our kitchen is done and I have an oven. So this is a blue curled Scotch kale. This says it's an excellent variety with finely curled blush green leaves, and it takes about 55 days to mature. So 55 days, again, that puts us right shy of July. So it'll be right at the end of June, and it really shouldn't be too hot here in Zone 5 in central kind of eastern Iowa. So I'm really excited. I've got 4 kale plants and 4 cabbage plants. I was actually cleaning out my potato sacks because I'm going to be doing an experiment with you guys about store-bought potatoes and nursery-bought potatoes, and then talking about determinate and indeterminate varieties. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe so you can stay tuned and hit the little notification bell if you want to get notifications of when videos like that are popping up. But we recently moved from our old house last fall, and I brought all of my plants and my tubs, my containers, everything with me, of course. And I did bring my potato sacks because they had potatoes in them. I sowed them really late just to see if there was any chance to get another harvest, and there was not. It got too cold too quickly. However, apparently there were some sunflower seeds in that soil. So I did get 1 sunflower seed start, but sunflower seeds, they're a little finicky when you go to transplant them. They don't like to be transplanted. They get a little lazy and floppy. So I tried to leave the roots as undisturbed as I could. The other issue with this sunflower seedling is it is quite leggy because it was in the bottom of a potato sack. Gosh, I'm shaking like a fool, but do you like my little trellising idea with my sticks? So I do have a couple chamomile plants here that I started from seed last season that I dug up and I brought with us when we moved. This is another plant. I can't remember what this was. It's a perennial. It's a yellow flower. It almost looks like a black-eyed Susan, but it's like a wild version of it. The other thing I've got here are some green onion chives. My mom, actually, we planted these together years ago when I was in high school. I typically did the garden with her because she claims to have a black thumb. So these are super, super hardy. They will grow in whatever soil. They will come back. They will spread. You can see they're starting to flower. That's what those little purple bulbs are. And they put off little flowers that look like alliums because alliums are in the onion family, just like chives. And they're super, super pretty. They self-sow pretty easily because of that. So I'm looking forward to that. I could be using these right now, actually, but we have been using ramps that we've been foraging as our onion supplement. And then I've got a box full of about 20 different rhizomes of a purple iris variety here that I just got off Facebook Marketplace. So these are actually going to be transplanted into the landscape here, I think around the tree, just because they'll put off a beautiful spring flower, as the other bushes and perennial plants that we're getting are going to be more of a summer, late summer kind of bloom. Our squirrel friends leave us little blessings everywhere in this yard. So this is an acorn that's been chewed up. All right, so, gosh, I'm sorry if the wind is making me hard to hear. Hopefully my microphone's picking me up and not the wind. So last fall, I like to go to the box stores every year in the fall because they typically have plants that did not sell that they are on sale for like 75% off up to 90% off. And most times they look scrawny because they weren't bought earlier on when they were nice and big and lush. And sometimes they're a little diseased, but let me tell you, it is a bargain if you can find plants at box stores like Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, even Walmart, and buy those plants. If they have any green in them, and if you still have a few weeks of warm weather, go ahead and buy those plants and just get them in the ground, even if it's not where you want them to be next year. Just help them get into the ground, get their roots established. I'm talking about perennial plants, so plants that are going to come back year after year after year. So what I have here are a couple salvias that I got for like $3 each, which is a steal. So I got these guys, and they were much, much smaller than this actually. And I just went ahead and threw them in the bed here right up by our door. It's not where they're going to stay, but honestly, it's easier just to transplant them when the root systems have been established. So these are Meadow Sage East Free. It's probably not Friesland, but Friesland? I don't know. It's a perennial. It needs part shade, part sun. So this is the perfect little area for them. The front of our house under a couple trees. These guys are beautiful. Super easy to grow. I had salvias in my last garden bed, and the pollinators loved them. I mean, every time I went out to the garden, there were bees just all over the plant. All right, so let's move into my favorite part of the yard, which is the soon-to-be garden. So the perennial plants that were originally in this area of the yard last year when we bought the house are still here. I can't remember exactly what they are. I know one of these two bushes is a weigela, if I'm saying that right. And unfortunately, they are going to have to be moved. I don't know if I want to move them to another part of the yard. Those I probably will because they're low enough. But this big guy, I wish there was something more that I could do. I might just post it on Facebook Marketplace and say, hey, if you come dig it up, you can have it. The other thing I did is I had a couple small starts, and honestly, guys, I have no idea what plant this is. If you know, tell me. At first, I thought, oh, maybe this looks like a lilac, because you know how lilacs will spread and their young shoots come up, and they look very similar to this. However, there's no lilacs over here. The lilacs are all over there in my neighbor's yard, so that's not even going to happen. It's not going to spread all the way over here. However, there's a good chance they could be a hydrangea, but I'm noticing that the foliage is completely different than what's on this hydrangea. Though I dug one up over here underneath the tin here, and then I dug another one up right here behind me next to this bush. So I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. There's a couple stacks of tin underneath each and every one of these stacks, and this is going to be the tin we use for our garden beds, because we're going to be having a long garden bed here that's 7 foot, 3 foot gap, and then another 7 foot garden bed with another 9 foot, and then 6 4-foot beds going perpendicular to the fence here. And they're going to be framed out with 2x and 1x, and then we're going to fill in the framing with tin. Got this tin on Facebook Marketplace from somebody local for $120. So I got almost 400 square feet for that, which is a great deal. Because I had a few starts that came up, I did dig them up, and they seem to be doing just fine. I think I've got about 3 different root systems in here and about 3 or 4 in this one. I'm going to get them going, and then I'll probably transplant them again into their own pots and probably sell them. We don't really have anywhere else in the yard that I would like to put a hydrangea. I've got some other plans for blueberry bushes and such. So you'll notice here I'm standing on a concrete pad. When we bought this house back in July, August-ish, and started working on it, there was nothing on this pad. It was actually just a bunch of the hydrangea bush falling onto here, poison ivy crawling around, overgrown shrubs, everything. And so we hardly noticed it was back here. But now that we've uncovered it and we've de-weeded a lot of things, we're going to build a 9x10. I say we, I mean my husband. My husband will probably build a 9x10 window greenhouse. And we are actually going to use the windows that we're going to replace here on our house in a month, which I'm super excited about. But reusing those windows also allows us to respect our budget, to keep everything budget friendly, and to give these windows another purpose instead of just throwing them in the dump and taking them to the landfill. So I'm looking forward to reusing some stuff original to the house. All right, and one of the last things I wanted to show you guys here, other than all the beautiful starts on this hydrangea bush, that's lovely. Look at that little guy. Hello. Oh, hello, Doug. Hi, Snookums. Hi, sweet boy. You just want to play. He's like, I'm so close, but I can't reach him. So I actually had these at the last house, and these are not from there. They are from my grandma, because I got these from my grandma's house originally. But these are walking onions. I've heard them called Egyptian walking onions. I've heard them called winter onions. There are so many different nicknames for these things. But the idea is these onions shoot up, and as soon as they're mature, there's a little bulb. Actually, it's a cluster of bulbs that grow at the top, and they get big enough that they start to weigh down the shoot that it's on, and they make their way down to the soil, and they root themselves. And so they're called walking onions because they literally just continue to walk. They'll continue to shoot up a bulb, fall to the soil, shoot up another bulb, fall to the soil. And so they won't be kept in this area, but because I'm going to be tarping this area and filling it in with garden beds and rock, they needed to get into the ground. So I'll just put them here because this is probably the safest place for them to be right now in the midst of our gardening chaos. So that is really it, guys. There has been quite a few things happening around the house, and we're kind of going into another season of busy as my husband kind of winds up his school year, because he's a full-time student and he works full-time in active military. And so he's kind of closing the year on both of those things, which means he's going to have more time to work here on the house, because we've been at kind of a pause for a while. So I'm really looking forward to the next coming months, and I hope that we have a lot of opportunities to put some more content out for you guys. So hey, if you're tuning in, I'm super grateful you were here. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel and believing in this channel and the mission that this channel is on, to just share regular mom, regular wife, regular woman, regular family things, just the reality of things. There is a lack of justice in the world when it comes to social media and the online platforms and the aesthetics that are put off. And so this channel is really just aiming to become a place where people can come just as they are and see how messy things can be, how messy life can be. But not just that, I want to equip you guys. I want to give you guys some resources, some knowledge, whether it's knowledge on plants, how to grow a garden bed, how to make your doors shiplap, whatever it might be. Just sharing what we as our little family is going through. And I really hope that it blesses you. So hey, if you enjoy this video and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the little bell if you want notifications. If you don't, that's cool. But go ahead, interact. Let me know in the comments what you're looking forward to and what you've enjoyed. Until then, I will see you on the next video. See ya.